Day 1. I have officially landed on Mars. The moment my boots touched the soil, everything became real. The silence is the first thing you notice. Not quiet, not the kind you hear at night on Earth. This is a void. A huge, endless, hungry emptiness. Inside the habitat, everything feels cramped, metallic, and temporary, like I'm camping inside a tin can placed on top of the universe's most hostile desert. I unpacked my things, a notebook, a family photo, and a small plant I'm supposed to grow. I set them next to my bed like charms against the emptiness. I told myself that I'm not alone. But Mars has a way of reminding you instantly. You are. Day 2. I woke up dizzy today. Low gravity does strange things to your body. I tried to stand and immediately floated too lightly, like a badly tuned puppet. It will take time to recalibrate. Most of the day went to checking oxygen lines, the pressure seals, and the solar panels. I've already learned something important. On Mars, the mundane becomes life or death. A loose screw isn't a loose screw, it's a countdown. Tonight I heated some dehydrated soup. It tasted like warm disappointment. But I forced myself to eat every last drop. Here, calories are survival. Day 3. The first morning routine is becoming clear. Wake up, check the life support. Water recycle system, pressure, temperature, CO2 scrubbers. Then I talk to the cameras, daily logs for the mission team back on Earth. There is a 17-minute delay. I speak to them, but they're not really there. It feels like sending messages into a well and hoping someone hears the splash. The plant I brought, a tiny green sprout, finally started to open. It shouldn't mean much. But on a planet with no life, one leaf feels like a friend. Day 4. I made my first big mistake today. I left the outer rover door unlatched after unloading equipment. The habitat alarm screamed like a dying animal. The pressure started dropping, just a little, but enough to remind me. I am one oversight away from extinction. I fixed it, double-checked it, then triple-checked it. My heart didn't slow down until an hour later. I sat on my bed and realized something terrifying. Earth protects you even when you're careless. Mars punishes carelessness instantly. Day 5. Today I explored further from base. Only about 400 meters, nothing dramatic. But it felt like stepping into the pages of someone else's dream. The landscape is red and brown in ways no camera ever captured. The ground crunches like powdered glass. The horizon is sharp and cruel. There are no sounds except your own breath and the occasional hiss of the suit. For a moment, I stopped walking. Just stood there. And in that stillness, I felt two things at once. Absolutely insignificant. And unbelievably alive. Day 6. Loneliness is starting to wake up inside me. Small things trigger it. The echo of my footsteps in the habitat. The metallic clank of my utensils. The fact that the air smells recycled, because it is. I rewatched old messages from my sister today. Her voice cracked at the end. She said, "Come home when you can, but don't rush." I laughed at that. There is no rushing home from here. Home is 225 million kilometers away, drifting through space like a memory. Day 7. Today I tried cooking something new. It failed. Spectacularly. Mars potatoes, grown artificially, taste like chalk. I tried to season them with mineral supplements. Let me tell you something no one includes in the official Mars brochures. Mineral supplements are not seasoning. The meal tasted like sadness sprinkled with suffering. I ended up eating more dehydrated soup. At this point, soup is becoming a personality trait. Day 8. I spent the morning talking to myself. Not intentionally, it just happened. I narrated what I was doing. Checking power levels. Refill water tanks. Don't forget the rover latch this time, genius. On Earth, talking to yourself is quirky. Here, it feels like psychological first aid. Human voices are part of our biology. Remove them, and the brain invents substitutes. I hope it doesn't get worse. Day 9. Today I found something beautiful. Frost. Actual frost on the edge of a rock formation. Thin, delicate, almost shimmering in the morning light. Mars is cold, but seeing ice here is strange. It's like finding a poem in the middle of a war zone. I wanted to touch it, but I couldn't. The suit doesn't allow for that kind of intimacy. I just stared at it for several minutes and felt something warm in my chest. This planet is brutal, but not entirely without grace. Day 10. A small dust storm came today. Not dangerous, but loud. The sand hit the habitat walls with a sound like distant drums. I sat inside, listening. It felt like Mars was knocking. Or reminding me that I am a guest here. A temporary visitor in a place older than all of human history combined. Tonight I feel both humbled and fragile. Like a candle trembling in a storm. But I'm still here. And that must count for something. Day 11, the beginning of something strange. I woke up today to a sound I couldn't explain. At first I thought it was part of the habitat systems, a loose bolt, a failing circulation fan, something mechanical. But then I realized something unsettling. It wasn't coming from inside. It was coming from outside. A low vibration, like a hum, but irregular, almost patterned. Not the wind. Not the storm. Mars storms roar, this sound pulsed. I suited up and stepped outside, expecting to see something wrong with the solar panels or the airlock. But the moment my boots hit the ground, the hum stopped. Just vanished. Like it had never been there at all. I walked around the entire habitat with the drone camera running, scanning for temperature changes, structural damage, anything. Nothing. Everything was normal. I returned inside and pulled off the helmet, trying to calm myself. I drank water. Ate a ration bar. Then, the moment I sat down at the workstation, the hum returned. Only this time, it wasn't faint. It was louder. Clearer. And I realized something that made my blood run cold. It wasn't random. It had a rhythm. A sequence. Almost like, no. That's impossible. But the more I listened, the more undeniable it became. The sound had structure. It repeated in cycles. 6 pulses. Pause. 4 pulses. Pause. 9 pulses. 6. 4. 9. It felt like coordinates. Or a code. Or a signal. And the worst part? Every time the sound played, the small plant I brought from Earth, the only living thing besides me, trembled slightly, as if reacting to vibrations I couldn't fully hear. As if something outside was calling. Not to me. But to the one thing on this planet that resembled life. I sent a report to Earth, but I know it will take days for a response. So, for now, I did the only thing I could. I followed the numbers. I mapped the pulses onto a grid around the habitat. 6 steps north. 4 steps west. 9 steps toward the ridge. That's where the signal seemed to point. I haven't gone there yet. But tomorrow. I think I will. Because something is here with me. Something that knows how to count. Something that wants me to find it. And I don't know if that terrifies me or excites me. Day 12, the ridge. I didn't sleep much. The hum didn't return, but the memory of it stayed in my head like an itch I couldn't scratch. 6. 4. 9. I kept hearing the sequence even in silence. This morning, I decided to follow the map I made. Suit on. Tools packed. Rover warmed up. I drove toward the ridge, a long, curved formation about half a kilometer away, usually unremarkable. Mars is full of rocks pretending to be landmarks, and ridges pretending to be significance. But today, the ridge felt different. Almost expectant. Halfway there, my suit sensors picked up something odd. A slight magnetic fluctuation. That shouldn't happen. Mars barely has a magnetic field at all. The fluctuation pulsed weakly, faint, delicate, but unmistakably patterned. The exact same rhythm as yesterday. 6 pulses. 4 pulses. 9 pulses. The ridge was calling. I parked the rover and approached on foot. The landscape was utterly still, but the soil near the ridge looked disturbed, not recently, but unnaturally smooth, like something had shifted beneath it long ago. I scanned the ground. Readings came back unusual. A dense, metallic anomaly buried 1 to 2 meters deep. Mars has metals, yes. But this signal wasn't iron oxide or any natural deposit. It was too geometric. Too deliberate. I knelt down and brushed some dust away. That's when I saw it. A sliver of something reflective beneath a thin layer of soil. Not rock, not ice, not mineral. It was smooth. Curved. Shaped. An object. Something manufactured. My breath fogged the inside of my helmet. My hands shook. I dug gently with my tools, trying not to damage whatever it was. More of it revealed itself, dark metal with faintly etched patterns. Lines. Circles. Like inscriptions. Then I noticed something else. The object was warm. Nothing on Mars is warm unless sunlight hits it directly, yet this object was buried. A dormant heat. A slow pulse. Alive, in its own way. Suddenly, the hum returned, but this time, not through the habitat speakers. It came from the object. A soft vibration in the ground, rippling through my gloves. Electromagnetic waves. Controlled, purposeful. I leaned closer, and for the first time, heard it clearly. A tone. A signal. Almost like a whisper buried under static. I couldn't understand it, but it felt intentional. Not random. Not geological. Not natural. It felt like someone, or something, was trying to communicate. I marked the location, covered the object lightly, and returned to the rover. I didn't take it. Not yet. I don't know if it's safe. I don't know what it is. But tonight, as I write this, one truth keeps circling my mind like a predator. Mars is not a dead planet. Not entirely. Something was here before me. Something that left traces. Something that counts. Something that waits. And what I uncovered today feels like the beginning of a story far older than human life.